Aaron first thought the notification was a scam because it arrived with the same tone as cheap interstellar ads promising free planetary immortality, limited conditions apply. He was halfway through ignoring it when his apartment door chimed 3 times, paused politely as if waiting for consent, then unlocked itself with the soft confidence of something that had never once been told no. That was the moment he understood 2 things. First, his rent agreement apparently included surprise cosmic permissions. Second, his life had just been downgraded into someone else's experiment. The girl walked in without hesitation. She looked human enough to make his brain relax for half a second before her long ears shifted slightly, like folded antennae tasting the air for emotional frequencies. She tilted her head at him, studying him with the calm focus of someone inspecting a malfunctioning appliance. "Hello," she said brightly. "I am your assigned spouse. Please refrain from romantic panic for the next 15 minutes. It reduces compatibility accuracy." Aaron blinked. "I'm sorry, my what?" "Spouse," she repeated, as if helping a slow translator software. Galactic Civil Integration Act, subsection Marriage Compliance Clause 7B. Humans must have a wife. You have been assigned me. He opened his mouth, found no appropriate response, and closed it again. Somewhere in the back of his mind, a survival instinct suggested screaming, but it was vetoed by confusion. The alien girl, who later, without much ceremony, declared her name was Lyra, but admitted names were mostly socially decorative noise, walked into his living room like she had been there before, sat down on his couch, and immediately began rating its emotional comfort. "This furniture is pretending to be supportive," she said. "It is doing a poor job." "It's a couch," Aaron said. "It doesn't have emotions." Lyra stared at him. "Everything has emotions. Yours are currently loud enough to distort nearby gravitational etiquette." He decided not to ask what that meant. Instead, he tried to regain control of the situation the way humans always did in moments of crisis, with bureaucracy. "Okay, I think there's been a mistake. I didn't apply for a wife. I don't even fill out my taxes correctly." Lyra nodded seriously. "That matches your demographic profile." She tapped her wrist device, and a holographic document unfolded between them, floating like an irritated ghost. Aaron saw his name on it, then a series of symbols that made his eyes feel personally attacked. "You were selected due to emotional unpredictability index," she continued. "High-variance subjects accelerate cultural evaluation efficiency. So what, a lab rat?" "No," she said thoughtfully. "Lab rats are more organized." That somehow made it worse. Days passed in a strange rhythm that no longer belonged to Aaron. Lyra treated his apartment like a shared simulation field. The kitchen utensils occasionally rearranged themselves when she looked at them too long. The refrigerator once refused to open until Aaron apologized for his tone of hunger. She began observing him constantly, but not in a creepy way, more like a scientist watching a particularly uncooperative experiment that kept making jokes. Aaron, against all survival logic, started making jokes back. "So what happens if I fail this marriage test?" he asked once while she recalibrated the lighting based on his stress levels. Lyra didn't look up. Planetary reassignment, possibly memory editing, possibly being turned into a historical footnote labeled insufficient adaptability. "That sounds dramatic. It is efficient." He leaned back. "Do I at least get a refund?" For the first time, she paused longer than expected. "No one has requested that before." "Yeah, well," he said, "Earth economy teaches us to negotiate everything." Lyra considered this like a new species of physics. Then, very softly, she added, "That is statistically concerning." And for reasons he could not explain, Aaron laughed. Aaron stopped trusting his own apartment around the time the toaster began refusing to toast bread unless it received emotional clarification. It happened on a Tuesday that felt suspiciously like a Wednesday pretending to be innocent. Lyra had been sitting on the counter again, legs swinging, long ears slightly angled as if she was listening to something behind reality. "Your device is emotionally unstable," she said calmly, pointing at the toaster. "It is refusing basic function because it believes you are disappointed in it." "I'm not disappointed in it," Aaron said. "I don't even think about it." "That is worse," she replied. The toaster made a small, offended sound and refused to continue existing as a toaster for the rest of the morning. Somewhere in the apartment systems, something quietly recalibrated the concept of breakfast. That was the first time Aaron realized Earth technology might not be as non-sentient as advertised. Or worse, it had just learned from Lyra. Their daily life became a negotiation between human logic and alien interpretation. Lyra treated every action as data collection. When Aaron sighed, she recorded it. When he tripped over his own thoughts mid-sentence, she labeled it adaptive linguistic instability with comedic potential. He asked if that was good. "It is rare," she said. "Rare things are either valuable or dangerous. I have not decided which you are yet." "I vote valuable," Aaron said. "Noted," she replied, and added a tiny note in her holographic interface that looked suspiciously like a smiley face. He didn't comment on it because he valued his dignity, or what remained of it. Then came the incident with the emotion scanner. It was supposed to be a routine compatibility verification, which Lyra described as basically marriage hygiene but for civilizations. She placed a thin ring of light around his head without asking permission. It hummed softly, like it was judging him in multiple languages at once. "Relax," she said. "This will only analyze your emotional coherence." That doesn't sound comforting. It is not meant to be. The device began projecting colors into the air, swirling patterns that reacted to his thoughts. When he thought about food, it turned orange and slightly chaotic. When he thought about taxes, it turned gray and collapsed briefly as if it wanted to leave the universe. When he thought about Lyra, it flickered into something unstable and almost beautiful, like it couldn't decide whether to be calm or confused. Lyra tilted her head. "Your emotional state toward me is inconsistent. That's because you keep calling my toaster emotionally unstable. It is emotionally unstable." The scanner suddenly emitted a warning tone and displayed a message. "Subject demonstrates high affectional irregularity with anoan-logical bonding patterns." "Is that bad?" Aaron asked carefully. "It is unusual," Lyra said. Then, after a pause that felt heavier than gravity, she added, "Most humans either resist attachment or simulate it. You are doing neither correctly." "Thanks." It might be a compliment. That night, something changed in how she observed him, not dramatically. Not dramatically enough for Aaron to notice immediately, which made it worse later when he did notice. She stopped treating his behavior like isolated data points and started watching him like a continuous sentence she did not want to end. She still made jokes, of course. When he burned instant noodles, she said, "You have successfully invented a new chemical state, regret soup." When he argued with the apartment door for locking him out, she told the door, "He is emotionally loud but harmless," and the door immediately obeyed her. That was when Aaron realized he was not the only one being evaluated anymore. The evaluation was spreading. One evening, Lyra stood unusually still near the window. Her long ears angled outward, catching signals Aaron could not hear. "Something is wrong," she said, "or correct, I am not certain which is worse." "That's very reassuring," Aaron replied. "You are improving at sarcasm," she noted. "That's definitely the worst timeline." She turned to him, expression softer than before. "Your species is changing my data model." "Is that dangerous?" he asked. Lyra considered it carefully. "Yes," she said, then added, almost quietly, "but also interesting." And for the first time since she arrived, Aaron wondered if the thing living in his apartment was not just studying humanity, but slowly forgetting how to study anything else. The notice arrived without sound this time, which meant the system that controlled Aaron's apartment had officially stopped pretending to respect privacy. Lyra stared at the floating holographic seal for a long time, her long ears angled slightly downward, as if listening to something that no longer made jokes. "Evaluation conclusion protocol has been initiated," she said quietly. "That means your marriage is over?" Aaron asked, leaning on the kitchen counter. "That means your species is over," she corrected automatically, then paused. "Or not over, reclassified. That's not comforting. Comfort is not part of interstellar governance." She said it like she was quoting a disappointing cookbook. The apartment, once chaotic with emotional recalibration errors and rebellious kitchen appliances, felt unusually still. Even the toaster had stopped expressing opinions. It was waiting, like everything else. Lyra stepped closer to him, unusually unarmed of sarcasm. "I was assigned to determine whether humanity could coexist without self-destruction or external correction. I have completed observation. Erin swallowed, and she hesitated. That hesitation was new. Your species is statistically unstable, she said. You contradict yourselves constantly. You fail efficiency tests, you argue with doors. Hey, the door started it. Yes, she admitted. That was part of my confusion. Then her expression softened in a way that made her look less like an evaluator and more like someone who had accidentally learned laughter and didn't know where to put it. But you also do something no model predicted, she continued. You improve without optimization. You become better without being corrected. Erin blinked. That sounds like a compliment disguised as an error message. It is both. The holographic seal shifted, projecting a final verdict. Galactic Civil Integration Board, Humanity Status, Conditional Continuation approved. Monitoring REDUCED. External intervention suspended. Erin stared. So, we passed. Barely, Lyra said. Like a system running on faulty logic that somehow produces functioning art. That's the nicest insult I've ever gotten. For the first time, she smiled properly. Not a simulated smile. Not a recorded gesture. Something awkward and real, like her face had learned a new algorithm and was still debugging it. My assignment ends here, she said. I am to return and report. Erin felt something unexpectedly heavy in his chest. So you're leaving? Yes. A pause, then she added, unless I choose to remain as an independent observer. Is that allowed? No. Sounds very on brand for you, Erin said. She considered that, then nodded. It is. There was another silence, but this one was different, not empty, full of unfinished translations. Finally, Erin sighed. So what happens now? Do I get my life back? Lyra looked around the apartment, at the stubborn toaster, the slightly suspicious refrigerator, the lights that dimmed when they felt emotionally excluded. You never lost it, she said. It just gained witnesses. That made him laugh because it was either that or accept how strange everything had become. So am I still married? He asked. Lyra tilted her head. Legally, no. Cosmically, ambiguous, emotionally. She paused again, ears shifting slightly as if listening inward. That part is still under analysis. Great, he said. So I'm emotionally under investigation forever. That is how most meaningful systems function, she replied. Then she stepped closer, and for the first time did not treat proximity like a variable. I will not erase the data I collected on you, she said softly. It is inefficient to delete something that changes its own definition while being observed. Erin nodded slowly. Is that also a compliment? It might be the closest thing my species has. The apartment systems flickered. The toaster finally printed a message. Please stop talking about me. Everyone is making IT weird. Erin pointed at it. Even the toaster wants boundaries now. Lyra looked at it seriously. It has grown. I think you broke my house. I improved it, she corrected. Then, after a pause that felt like a decision crossing species boundaries, she added, and I improved myself slightly as well. When she finally left, without dramatic portals, without cosmic thunder, just a quiet recalibration of space that closed behind her like a thought finishing itself, Erin expected relief. Instead, he felt the apartment differently, not emptier, wider, as if it remembered how to include him again. The toaster worked normally the next morning. The door unlocked without emotional commentary. The lights stopped judging him. But sometimes, in the quiet moments between ordinary tasks, Erin caught himself speaking as if someone was still listening from a place, just slightly outside the room. And once, very late at night, he thought he heard a faint sound through the apartment system, like distant, long-eared laughter traveling across impossible distance, checking one last time that humanity was still being itself, inefficiently, stubbornly, and just well enough to survive. The first thing Erin noticed was that the universe had stopped checking up on him. No notifications, no unsolicited holographic seals, no emotionally judgmental appliances forming committees against his breakfast choices. The silence felt suspiciously like freedom pretending it wasn't temporary. He had almost learned to live with it when the door chimed exactly 3 times again. Not unlocked this time, just a polite announcement, like a memory knocking. He opened it. Lyra stood there. Same long ears, same calm gaze, but something about her felt less like an observer and more like someone who had forgotten to leave. You are not supposed to be here, Erin said immediately. Correct, she replied. I am currently in violation of 17 interstellar protocols, 2 ethical frameworks, and 1 administrative suggestion strongly phrased as a warning. That's a lot of illegal energy for one doorway. I condensed it for efficiency. She stepped inside anyway, as if laws were more like weather than rules. The apartment reacted instantly. The toaster powered on by itself. The lights flickered into a color Aaron had never authorized. Even the refrigerator opened slightly, then closed again like it was pretending not to be interested. They remember you, Aaron said. Yes, Lyra replied. So do I. There was a pause, not awkward, but full of systems quietly updating themselves. Your report got me something, Aaron added. Reduced monitoring. Congratulations. Humanity is now officially barely acceptable. That is generous classification, she said. We usually discard things at that threshold. Comforting. She looked around, then at him. I did not come as an evaluator. Then as what? Lyra hesitated, and for the first time, her ears didn't behave like instruments. They just rested. As an error, she said. Aaron blinked. You came here to be a bug in your own system? Yes, she said simply. I continued observing after termination. That is not permitted. I also failed to erase certain data points. Like me? Like your toaster's emotional resistance to toast. The toaster immediately beeped in agreement. Aaron sighed. Traitor. Lyra took a step closer, lowering her voice slightly. My species believes observation must end in classification. Yours believes chaos is normal. Between those two ideas, I began to lose certainty about which one was correct. Spoiler, it's us, Aaron said. That is statistically unlikely. We specialize in it. For the first time, she laughed, not a programmed sound, a real one, slightly imperfect, like it had to pass through unfamiliar physics to escape her. I have been reassigned, she said, to non-critical observational drift. That sounds like exile with extra paperwork. It is exactly that. She paused. I declined. Aaron stared at her. You what? I declined. You can do that. No, so you're definitely bad at alien bureaucracy. Exceptionally, she agreed, then softer. I chose to remain. The apartment hummed faintly, like it was trying not to interrupt something important. Aaron leaned against the counter. And what does that mean? For me, I mean, do I still have a wife I didn't apply for? Lyra considered that carefully. No legal structure exists anymore. Good. However, she added, I appear to have formed a continuous observational dependency on your species, and on you specifically. Aaron nodded slowly. So I'm emotionally under surveillance again. Self-imposed this time, she said. That's worse. It is also less efficient. He exhaled a short laugh. So what now? Lyra looked at him, and for once did not measure him. Now I learn without permission. That sounds like you're about to ruin more of my appliances. Only if they misbehave emotionally. The toaster immediately went silent. Aaron shook his head. You know, when you first showed up, I thought I was getting abducted into an alien marriage scam. It was not a scam, she corrected. It was a controlled civil evaluation procedure. Same vibes. She tilted her head slightly, long ears shifting with